Welcome to Unedited, our fortnightly podcast where we explore the opportunities and challenges the retail industry is facing. Brought to you by myself, Diana Bang, and Grace Hill.
From fashion, beauty, and homeware, Diana and I will cover industry topics and shed light on how retailers can create a brighter future.
Hi, Grace. What have you been up to recently?
Oh, well, I mean, as I'm sure many people will also be experiencing, but it's now tier 2 life here in London. So yes, been trying to work out as I live on my own who will be in my support bubble and hoping people include me.
Who are you choosing? Who are the candidates?
I mean, it's a toss-up, right? Is it your friends? Is it a person you're dating? Like, what is the situation?
People you're dating? Or just
people,
one?
multiple? No, I wish. But yeah, no, other than that, it's been not too exciting, except for it's got colder here. So got my winter wardrobe out. Like, I'm obsessed with my new green puffer jacket. And yeah, I feel like there's so many exciting sustainably influenced products out there. I know Arket just announced that they are it's at 100% upcycled down, and I know that there's lots of responsible down sourced puffer jackets on the market right now. So yeah, it's exciting. It's made my my winter coat purchase a little less more sustainable, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly.
How about you? What have you been up to?
So we're going to move flats in a month's time. So I'm trying to plan it with IKEA are doing, you can give back IKEA products and get a voucher in return. So I'm already planning on how I can get rid of some of my old IKEA products, but I guess will they do at the same price, or would you get a discount? How does it work? I haven't looked into it yet, but it's amazing that IKEA are doing this. So just gonna
so cool.
out with the old and in with the new, but
yeah,
be sustainable at the same time.
When is that launching? Is that this weekend?
During Black Friday.
Oh wow, okay.
Time period.
Right. I need a new wardrobe, so that's good for me to know.
Yeah. But, with sustainability, I've also seen in the news that Gucci have made another statement in their aim to generate positive change for people on our planet by entering the resale market.
Yes, so that's not the only sustainability initiative that you can that's been happening. We've actually just published today our 2020 sustainability report. So for all of our listeners, you can access it at edited.com/resources/sustainability or follow the link in our description. But it covers everything you need to know about sustainability in 2020. And you can read more about how the major players in the industry are waking up and reacting to the impact that their actions are having on the planet.
And on the topic of sustainability, today we'll be discussing how COVID has affected retailers' sustainability efforts. So joining us to discuss this hot topic is Kelly Cortina, VP of Global Apparel at North Face. Welcome to the podcast, Kelly. It's lovely having you. How's everything on the other side of the world in Denver?
Hey, good morning. Everything's great in Denver. We are, getting through day by day and making new product. And yeah, I'm excited to be here to talk with you about sustainability today.
Yeah.
Well, we are very excited to hear what you have to share with us. So before we dive into the topic, we'd love to hear more about how you started your journey and becoming VP of Global Apparel at North Face, which is an incredible position. And I know I'd mentioned this earlier, but from some LinkedIn stalking, I know we both started our careers in the same place at Abercrombie.
Yeah, no, true story. No, I've had wonderful experiences working for such great brands. And so my career did start at Abercrombie. So I was a merchandiser with the Hollister and the Abercrombie brands, and just had an amazing experience there and learned, all of the foundational principles of being a merchant, and had the opportunity to work with great talent there as well. And now everybody's sort of spread out across multiple industries. So it's always fun to reconnect with Abercrombie alums. And then, from Abercrombie, I had the opportunity to work with Under Armour and really had an incredible experience, working in product and retail at Under Armour as we, grew that brand over the course of, over 10 years. And, really enjoyed working closely with athletes and building product for athletes. And And then, just a couple of years ago, my husband and I made the big decision to move our family out west and get our young boys closer to the mountains. And, I was really excited to join the North Face. The North Face aligned really closely with my personal values. And, they're pioneers around not only the outdoors, but, really being an inclusive brand, and, diversity is a key priority for them as well. And really creating access for consumers to the outdoors. So it was super exciting to join the North Face and to be able to now join the outdoor industry and work on great product and sustainable product for our consumers. And so we are now in Denver, and really enjoying living in Colorado.
Fair, especially at a time like now when sustainability and also just being in the outdoors has never been more important, right? And
no, so true. Yeah.
And also the lockdown measures, I guess you can be outdoors a bit more than some people. To our listeners, Kelly has a screen where she has mountains in the background, and I feel like I can smell the nature from where, like, it looks so freeing and so nice. So I can't imagine how beautiful that must be.
Definitely.
Yeah, with Zoom, it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's pretty common to see teammates from the North Face with a rotating background of all the different places they've been and all the incredible outdoor spaces they've explored. So at least that keeps the digital life a little bit more inspiring.
Definitely. Better than my kitchen, which is in the background.
You have a lovely kitchen.
Oh, well, it needs some work, that is for sure. I'm sure seeing the best parts of it with my plants. So Kelly, we know that obviously sustainability has been a hot topic for years now. And in our 2019 sustainability report, we saw a 125% increase in new products arriving online across the US and the UK that were described as sustainable since 2017. So could you tell us about the sustainability initiatives that you've been pioneering during your time at the North Face?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge priority for the North Face, and also for VF, which is our parent organization that not only the North Face is a part of, but Timberland and Vans and Dickies are also part of VF. And collectively, all of our brands are very focused on sustainability initiatives across the board. Specifically at the North Face, though, it's been an exciting time in the last 2 years that I've been with the brand. We've really focused on innovation and sustainability. One of the innovations that we've launched in the last year is something called Future Light, which is a waterproof, breathable technology, and is almost 100% sustainable. So it's made from recycled materials. It's really groundbreaking in its technology and performance, but the additional story around sustainability for our consumer really goes a long way. And so we were very excited to be able to marry innovation with sustainability. Additionally, we have, products that you're probably familiar with that have been with the brand a very long time, and the consumer continues to love. And we've been able to evolve some of those products to be recycled. An example of that would be our fleece Denali Jacket, which, really had, a huge moment in the 1990s, and really consumers continue to love that product. And so that's just an example of something that we've been able to make sustainable, for a while now. And then we are continuing to do that with a lot of our other iconic products. And then, we also have launched our remade line. So we work with a third party, the Renewal Workshop, and our teams are working closely with them to continue to refurbish and, generate renewed products from products that get turned in or are imperfect within our distribution house. And we're really excited about where we think that can go. So we basically have a three-prong approach: innovation and sustainability, our icons and sustainability, and then also our renewed opportunity with, basically remade product.
I know I was looking on your website earlier and looking at the video that you guys have about the Denali Jacket and the amazing way that you've been able to innovate in terms of like reducing the amount of chemicals and water and the use of the leftover product as fabric offcuts as well to create new garments, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it was such
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say it was such a timeless product, and having, even though it's iconic, that you're able to like re-innovate with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it really is about a close partnership with our manufacturing partners. I think as we set new expectations for ourselves around building more sustainable product, we work really closely with our manufacturing partners. So, we are constantly looking for new ways and new ideas to, like you said, reduce water waste, to decrease dyes that we're using, to reduce shed on our fleece, and so on and so on. So there's just so many creative things that we continue to discover, but that really does come from partnership with our suppliers and leaning on them for new innovations and ideas around sustainability that are really shared goals between us and them as well.
Mm-hmm. It'd be great too, because there's so many different types of sustainability initiatives, and you have retailers that upcycle, or they have donations via charities, or trying to support emissions from CO2 and things like that. But from your perspective, you just mentioned what was the focus for North Face, but is there initiatives that should be considered standard by retailers?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, certainly pursuing recycled content wherever a retailer can, I think that's something that really is really emerging as an expectation across industries. I think the consumer values, innovation when it comes to material and content. And that's something that, everyone, across the board really has the opportunity to focus on. And we know that is, the material consumption is a large part of, where we need to focus to truly move the needle. Certainly there are other things around manufacturing, like we just mentioned, around chemicals and water waste. And so I think, across the board, there's so many things to focus on depending on the type of product you make. But certainly I would say recycled content at a minimum would be something that really, to me, would be a standard that we should all really hold ourselves to.
Totally. And what do you think from your perspective are the biggest challenges that retailers face in being a sustainable brand like the North Face?
I mean, it truly does take innovation. So I think, it does take planning, it takes strategy. I think, brands really do, it's helpful to really build a multi-year approach, a multi-year outlook on how to start to really convert at scale. So how do you really start to, change ways of working with suppliers, testing standards with suppliers for products. So it really starts to alter the supply chain once you make a commitment to, a North Star goal around improvement in regards to sustainability. So I think that, cost often comes up as a big hurdle for brands. And, when you're trying to create value for the consumer around product, that is a big consideration. And because sometimes there is a cost associated with being more sustainable, sometimes on the other end, it doesn't feel great to be charging more for product. And so that's often a common, debate among, inside of brands on how to communicate the value, and then also, uphold your consumer investment, if you will. So I think cost ends up being something that can be a challenge, but with the right approach and thinking about a multi-year opportunity, sometimes scale can help eliminate some of that cost and help that become less of a hurdle. And that's something that we've focused on within the North Face, how we really partner with suppliers over a time horizon to continue to break that down a little bit.
So having like the right manufacturers and suppliers and partnerships to be able to tackle that.
Yeah, and I think when your supply chain and your brand have a shared goal, and many of our suppliers are really doing incredible things, that makes it a lot easier, because then you're really, that brain power just gets a lot bigger. Everybody is really charging towards the same thing and coming up with new ideas. And it's incredible how far, we've come in such a short amount of time, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that it's like this unified effort that needs to get to where you want to be. But it'd be interesting to hear about from the customer side as well. Says, does the North Face receive pressure from its customer base to be sustainable? Because with customers now, they are so in the know of everything that goes on. So it'd be great to hear more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the North Face, I mean, we are, pioneers within the outdoors. Protecting our planet is a chief priority for our brand. And our teammates are deeply passionate about it, as are our athletes, and our athlete community, has a huge platform around protecting the planet. So this is really something that is super important to the brand, doing everything that we can, in being sustainable. But, also we know our consumer really values this. And so our consumer is also deeply passionate around protecting this planet and respecting the outdoors. And so, I think we are aware that this is something that is important to our consumer, and we're actively trying to be as transparent and also educational around all the things that we are doing to, improve our product, to improve its performance, but also to deliver on our sustainability goals.
Amazing. And I thought it was really interesting earlier when you were talking about kind of the cost pressures, and I know from my experience in retail, you have like obviously a design team that has really excited about, new innovative materials or, trims or ways of working. And then you have to weigh that up with the merchandising team or the team that's bringing that product to market on, that cost benefit analysis and the value the customer's seeing. But another thing that I found is the alignment across categories. So obviously, as the VP of Global Apparel, and where you're overseeing multiple categories, how do you maintain that alignment and consistency in terms of the different sustainability initiatives that could be implemented by departments?
I would say, about a year and a half ago, we got deeply organized around this because, you very much identified, like, it can be a challenge, as you have different departments and great new ideas coming across season after season. But, the North Face is a big global brand. So we do drive a lot of volume across the globe. So we had to take a step back and really think about our overall brand footprint just through the sheer number of units of product that are shipping to consumers every day. And so what we did was we really took a step back and we really developed a strategy down to the yarn level so that we could still honor new ideas, but we knew that the core ingredients of any new idea would be, recycled content. And so we made a commitment to ourselves that any new innovation around performance would also be sustainable. So, we committed to the fact that anything we do go forward would be in the vein of sustainability in any way possible. And we really are pacing ahead of our goal that we would be, 90% recycled content across the board in all products that we make in apparel by 2023. And so what I will say about our design team is that they're deeply passionate about circularity, about, educating themselves and then educating the team across design and materials and marketing around how we can continue to improve on that front. So our design team does a rotation with our renewal workshop partners, and they're constantly, working on new ways to think about the full loop, so that as we go forward and design new seasonal product that is all built through the mindset of being sustainable and being as circular as possible.
Yeah, you mentioned a few. It'd be interesting to hear more about those teams because you mentioned design teams and these renewal partners, and this might be different for the North Face, but some retailers, for example, Boohoo, have created a new role called Responsible Sourcing Director. So it'd be good to hear from the North Face. I know sustainability is more spread across business, but has there been a change in the organizational structure since sustainability efforts have increased? Have you created new teams or new roles? Do you think retailers need to have a specific department for sustainability?
I do think it can help to have dedicated resources within teams to sustainability efforts. I suppose it probably just depends on the maturity around the effort within the brand, whether it's a new initiative or it's something that's been, worked on for some time. we are a brand that has, a voice and a platform. So, we are advocating to protect our planet. So there is a deep connection between the product piece and the marketing and the PR piece within our brand. So we do have dedicated teammates that, continue to explore new ideas around sustainability, explore new partnerships, and continue to look for new ways for us to connect with our community around pushing these initiatives and bringing new ideas to the brand. I would say that it is important, I believe, that it is integrated, however, so that the effort is, appropriately highlighted, and that there's teammates dedicated based on just the sheer amount of information every day that everyone is navigating around this subject and trying to translate into process. But it's really important that it really becomes, I think, something that all brands are working towards. So we've made it an internal goal for the brand. So it really does, every year, everyone is measured by our effort around sustainability. So it's completely shared. And I think there's a big benefit to that, so that it's not in a silo. It's not, exclusive from everything else going on. It truly needs to be integrated, I think, to get the most scale out of the effort, for sure.
That's the thing, like if it just sits with one team, then it's easy for other teams to kind of shy away from the responsibility. But it sounds like it's fundamental to the kind of values of the business, and everybody's aligned in that. And as you said, sharing that responsibility across the brand.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. And I think, there's always, when you're looking at new ways of doing things, you have to also, it's a problem to solve in many ways. So you have to think about how to do maybe other things in new ways. And that really requires, cross-functional partnership to think about things end to end.
Yeah. And I think like the collaboration element, and also what you mentioned earlier about it's not just a problem solving that you have to do internally, but leveraging your manufacturing expertise of your suppliers and things like that. There is so much information and knowledge out there, and you don't have to go it alone, I guess, is the theory. Yeah,
absolutely. And, the teams are just, they're so passionate about this. Like there's endless ideas on what we could do. And it actually comes down to just sheer prioritization. Like we want to do this, that, and the other. But, sometimes you have to sort of identify priorities by what, you think can have the most impact soonest, and what we believe the consumer will value depending on the product type that we're building. So.
It's interesting. Is it part of the interview process that people, that should be a passionate, it makes sense, but, is that something that you look in your talent?
It's certainly, I don't know if it's part of the interview process per se, but I would say that, the North Face is deeply proud of our values around, protecting the planet, being curious, being innovators, being explorers. So there's just a natural, I would say, curiosity that we do. Hope is contagious around anyone who's within the brand or joins the brand. And it's something that, we share with our athletes as well. So, I think, it's very deeply aligned with who we are as a brand. And then also, the community that we outfit, for adventure. So
I guess talking about the community that you guys outfit, how can brands encourage consumer accountability as well on the other side of things?
I mean, I think, what you've probably seen as well is like, there is a lot of information out there, and sometimes that can be, overwhelming, I think, for consumers. So, I think what's important is that brands are transparent and also educational. I mean, we're learning too, right? So nobody has all the answers, and things will hopefully continue to evolve to get better and better around sustainability. So I do think it's important that, we communicate with the consumer, we have a conversation with the consumer so that, they are more educated around what we stand for, how we build our product, and what our intentions are around incorporating recycled content, responsible down. Like there are so many elements around some of our volume products that, we will continue to have a conversation with the consumer around. Transparency is key.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that about retailers and brands being educators for consumers. I think this next question is quite a big topic, but with the recent store closures and reduced consumer confidence because of COVID, brands across the world have had to cut back and cancel a lot of orders. So in Bangladesh alone, it was reported that there was $3 billion worth of canceled orders, impacting 2 billion factory workers. So from your perspective, how would you recommend that brands navigate their sourcing strategy to make sure they don't neglect the workers in their supply chains in times of uncertainty?
Yeah, I mean, this has been, I think, probably devastating, for our supply chain communities across, for any brand. And so, we really do pride ourselves at VF and also at the North Face on having strong relationships with our suppliers and being partners with them, as I mentioned earlier. And so, we made a very quick decision with COVID that we were going to honor any purchase orders, through June 1st. So all of spring, and then, any supplier that had, financial hurdles, we were going to work as closely as we possibly could to ensure that that was something we could help them recover from. In addition to that, we've also donated roughly around $200,000 to communities in Bangladesh, Cambodia, India. So what I would say is there's an ongoing effort, at least at the North Face and at VF, to support these suppliers, because these are our partners for the long term. It's not just a short-term relationship. And many of them we've known for so long. So I think that, any brand ideally would be, nurturing that relationship through tough times that we will hopefully all emerge from. But what we've tried to do is stay as committed as possible. And then even through, goods that were, any liability, we've been trying to move through extremely quickly so that that's all consumed. So that's not something that suppliers have to carry the weight of for us. So yeah, it's a day by day conversation, to be quite honest. It has truly changed some of the things we're doing internally. So the good thing about it, I would say, if you had to look at a bright side, is that the internal teams cross-functionally have a heightened awareness around that supplier relationship. It's not just the sourcing teams and the product teams that are aware of, what a crisis this has been on the supply chain side. So, and so I'm very proud of our effort there and what we are doing to stay very committed to supporting our supply chain.
Totally. I think that's really interesting. You mentioned that, like, obviously the heightened awareness within the teams, because sometimes, if you're responsible for trading the product, you are thinking about the bottom line and, how your sales, and actually the fact that as a business that you're very aware of the supplier relationships and also the sustainability impact of, ordering additional units, if those don't sell, what happens to that? But other than that, are there any other positive impacts that you've seen off the back of COVID in relation to sustainability? Because I know we're clouded in negativity as a world.
Well, I mean, I think it's certainly what we are seeing is a huge movement in the outdoors. So that's something, as a brand, we are so excited about because we truly believe in outdoor therapy. We believe exploration can bring inner peace and help open up our minds and challenge us. And so with that, I think there's a deep connection to wardrobe, right? And so I'm sure there's a lot of people right now working from home, looking in their closets, thinking like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Like, when am I going to wear it? And that might be like very sad for some of us because we loved some of those pieces we used to wear. But I think, that athletic part of the wardrobe is needed now because people are either, comfortable working from home or their fitness routine has changed. They're getting outside more. And so, we have probably a new perspective on how much a consumer needs, like the investment in quality versus quantity. And I think that's something we should all be paying attention to because that can have a deep impact on the sustainability effort. We don't need to flood the market with so much stuff. If we have integrity around the quality of the product we're building and we believe it can be long lasting, that's much more ideal for our consumers than continuing to bring more stuff into the world. So I think it has also heightened our awareness around supply and demand and how much we want to be, making. So we're being more curated, I would say, in our approach to collections, more editorial around, what we believe our consumer will respond to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big theme that's come through and that we've been seeing in a lot of our reports, like the capsule wardrobe, buy better, all of those types of themes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was just telling Grace that because I'm wearing earrings and I never wear earrings. I just thought I would, but I'm just not used. I'm so much more used to just being in my simple outfits that wearing earrings makes me feel like a different person.
Yeah.
But I feel like you've spoken about this a bit. But what do you think? What's going to happen after COVID? Are consumers going to bounce back to their normal ways, or what are the kind of long-term trends that or do you see sticking around after COVID?
I think consumers will emerge, once we get through COVID. I don't know that things will go back to the way they are or the way they were. I think that what we can probably expect is, this outdoor influence to continue to evolve. I think, it's hard to imagine everyone just retreating back indoors, going into gyms. I think everybody has sort of seen that there's more that we have at our disposal if we just walk outside, and that can be, as I mentioned before, very therapeutic and inspiring. And I think that, as people navigate sort of the mental day-to-day right now and all of the things that are happening in the world, like, that can bring a lot of perspective. And so, and a sense of accomplishment, with, whatever your adventure is, whether it's, something, perhaps at the beginner level or advanced, it's all going to have a pretty high return. So I don't think that's going to change. I think consumers will be also more educated. So to spend more time in the outdoors, I think consumers may find themselves more interested in the types of products they're buying, the technical benefits, the functionality of the product. And then, of course, how is it made, and how long will it endure, and is it quality? Will they be able to use it again and again? So I think just an appreciation for quality product that probably best outfits consumers for outdoor activity is something that we can, expect to be something that, we and the consumers continue to be interested in.
You mentioned earlier that transparency is key, and obviously now more than ever, consumers are more in touch with what goes into making their products, who makes them, the impact it has on the environment. From your perspective, how do you think brands can push and embrace transparency?
I think, obviously a lot of people are home right now, they're shopping online. So, social media and e-commerce are amazing ways to connect with the consumer. So I think that's something that, those are avenues in which, transparency can start to be communicated more. But I also think that sustainability can't be something that sits off to the side, or it has to be integrated, which is why at the North Face, we've really made that connection that, innovation and sustainability are one thing. These are not going to be separate things. It's not going to be added value to have something as sustainable. It's going to be part of what we do. And so I think the more that can be integrated into, external messaging with consumers, marketing has many different mediums right now. And then I also think that there's an opportunity for, teammates within brands, executives within brands to be advocates. So there's many networks that we're all a part of, LinkedIn being one of them. That's a great platform for, teammates, executives, partners, athletes to all, use their forums to also be an extension of the message around transparency. And I think there's a certain part of that, also is associated with some pride. I think everybody wants to feel like we're doing a good thing. We're protecting this planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you mentioned social media as well, and Gen Z is quite a big, someone who uses social media quite a lot. I think when I was at their age, I was proud to be playing the clarinet, and they have so many skill sets that they can do with TikTok and all these new medias that I would never be able to do, but it's quite impressive. But also what's interesting is with the Sustainability Investment Group, they stated that 73% of Gen Z said they would pay more for a brand if they knew it was sustainable. So how should brands approach merchandising a sustainable product line nowadays, from pricing and product to timing to market?
I mean, I think it depends on the brand and the type of product. I mean, and I think we have to continue to educate ourselves on the consumer. You know, will that expectation stay? Will they be willing to pay for more? What exactly is associated with that investment? Like, what is their expectation around the value or the lifespan of the product? So certainly this, you know, back to the theme of integration, to your point, like this has to be part of line planning, right? This has to be part of like multi-year strategies to line architecture and really understanding like the value and the feature and benefit set for any product that's sold to consumers. But to your point, I think what we can count on is that there's going to be, you know, an evolving conversation around it. And certainly when you look at Gen Z and, you know, modes of communication like this, we can count on this becoming, you know, an only increasing theme around consumer behavior and purchase.
Mm-hmm.
And so it starts to inform, you know, also point of purchase communication as well.
Mm-hmm. They have such a strong voice now, don't they, as well, that customer group. They a lot of values and things that they use and channels to communicate on. So it's really interesting.
Yeah. And they have a big influence too. I mean, certainly in the outdoor community, I mean, you're starting to see, you know, a lot of influence from Gen Z in terms of, you know, even how consumers outfit and, you know, how they're preparing for activities, or, you know, as we see new consumers become more active in different things that they, you know, we hadn't seen before. So we're seeing a lot of things merge right now. And I think that's a really good thing for sustainability specifically.
Mm-hmm. And I think I have hope in terms of sustainability, because I feel like there are many more brands who are, you know, taking that multi-year planning and considered approach to sustainability efforts. You know, Zalando being somebody, you know, a brand or a retailer that has aimed to reduce its 80% of its operational carbon emissions by 2025. I know the Inditex Group and Zara products are to be made from 100% sustainable fabrics by 2025 through their Join Life program. So what is your perspective on fast fashion versus luxury in terms of their impact on sustainability?
I mean, I think it's an incredible thing that we are starting to see the fast fashion brands have, you know, the number of products they produce, how frequently they produce, the size of their supply chains, you know, indicate that they would have a major impact on the overall effort. So it's a really amazing thing to start to see that shift happen, because it can have such a positive impact. So I think that's incredible. Zalando is a great partner to the North Face brand. And so I think, you know, this similar to manufacturers and brands, also with retailers and wholesale brands, you're starting to see shared partnerships around the sustainability message. So, you know, in terms of the consumer community, not only our brands, but also wholesale partners and retailers really putting their heads together to figure out how to accelerate the effort. And so, you know, fast sustainability sounds like a really good thing to me. Certainly, you know, we do need to be conscious of the number of products that we continue to build. But, you know, if those can be sustainable, that is a huge piece of combating this, you know, pretty big effort. So.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting. IKEA are even doing like a buyback program where they're giving you vouchers. It's all through November. It's part of their Black Friday that you can give back your IKEA products and they give you a voucher. So,
oh my gosh.
I think that's so smart. Yeah. I mean, we have a close the loop program, and, you know, we welcome donations at all of our retail outlets and stores. And then consumers also get a coupon for purchase if they were able to do that. And we typically donate those products to, you know, those in need. But I think, you know, all of these types of efforts, and I have to believe through COVID and everything that, you know, we're battling right now, you know, we will be more inspired around things like this, around return, reuse, remake, and, you know, good things are going to come. People will be more inspired around ideas and brands that are as big as the ones you've mentioned. I mean, that's incredible, because they'll have a huge influence on the overall community.
Yeah. And Kelly, we've been dying to ask you about this throughout the whole episode, but we saw the teaser of the collaboration between the North Face and Gucci. Could you tell us more about it? It looks so, like, it doesn't give much away, the teaser.
No. Unfortunately, I can't tell you anything about it, but we are partnering with Gucci, and it's something that, you know, is a great pairing of two brands with incredible heritage and stories to tell. And so, you know, in the coming months, there will be more shared, but, you know, that's been a lot of fun for everyone involved. And we are, you know, we've really enjoyed the opportunity, and we're excited for what we have to come.
Yes, I know. And like, as you said, like, two amazing heritage brands, but also brands with such strong kind of like, perspectives and credentials in terms of sustainability and the impact that they can have. I'm just desperate to get my hands on one of those flags.
More to come.
We can't wait. We can't wait to hear about it. So just to wrap up and to finish, we always ask our guests, but what is the one thing that you would want our listeners to take away from this episode?
I mean, I would say to everyone, if I could, just never stop exploring. I mean, it's truly what we stand for at the North Face. And I really do believe that exploration and innovation are deeply linked. And, you know, when you explore, you become inspired. And so much of this sustainability conversation is just a constant evolution. So I think if brands are curious, because their consumers are also curious, we can do really great things across industry, and that really takes a curiosity and, you know, the desire to be inspired around new solutions. So I would say never stop exploring, get outside, enjoy the outdoors, and I hope, you know, that brings sort of an inner peace to everyone in times like this that we're going through.
I love that. Beautiful ending.
Yeah, it's given me a lot of positivity and hope, this conversation, which is,
yeah, I feel good, you know.
I'm glad you feel good. It's been this has been very enjoyable. Thanks for the discussion this morning, and giving me the opportunity to speak with both of you.
No, it's been our pleasure, and thank you so much, and thank you for getting up early and doing this. I know it's much earlier in the day in Denver than it is where we are, so
no problem.
Oh, well, I guess that's a cut.
Not that we did that at the same time.
Yes, I know. I feel like very in sync.
That was super interesting, Kelly. That was so, yeah, very insightful.
Thanks for your, great questions, and you both have such a nice ease to the conversation, so it makes it, you know, enjoyable.
No, and thank you so much for being such a willing participant and guest. It's been, yeah, we were both so excited about speaking to you and getting to hear what you had to say.
Well, likewise, I really do appreciate it. It's such an important topic, and we are doing such incredible things. And as a team, we're just really proud of what we've been able to do in the last few years. And we're just going to continue to do more. So
exactly.
It's all the right stuff.
Amazing. Well, Kelly, we'll let you go. I feel like hopefully this gives you a few more minutes back into your day. I'm sure you're back to back.
I appreciate it.
But we hope to keep in touch, and yeah, stay safe. We hope everything's okay at your end.
All right, you too. Thanks so much. Be healthy.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. As a listener of ours, we are here to support you as the retail industry continues to bounce back. If you're a customer of Edited, please contact your dedicated account manager and retail strategist, and they'll do everything they can to support you. For all of our listeners that want further insights into sustainable fashion, please ensure that you download our 2020 sustainability report, which is out today, the 28th of October. So make sure you head to edited.com/resources, oh God, that's a mouthful, /resources/sustainability, or find the link in our description.
Thank you for listening to Unedited. If you've enjoyed today's conversation with Kelly, please make sure you subscribe to keep in the loop with future episodes. And please tell your friends or family about us. And if you have any further questions, you can get in touch at unedited@edited.com or tweet us at edited_HQ. Bye.
Bye.